Everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Today we're going to be doing a cabin filter replacement, the exterior cabin filter under the cowl on my 1995 Mercedes S320. This process should apply to any of the W140 models, but there are two different versions of cabin filter. There's the standard one, which is what I have, and an activated charcoal version that I believe has a different profile, definitely has a different part number. Either way, I know which one mine is by looking up the OEM part number, by VIN number, and then by the actual part that's in the car, and that is this one. So if you have the standard version, you're going to need Febby Bilstein part number 09485. That replaces Mercedes part number 140-835-0047. And what that filter looks like, if we open up the box and pull it out, is something like this. It's this trapezoidal kind of shaped filter, and it sits underneath the passenger side of the vehicle's cowl. So I'm going to go ahead, take you over to the vehicle, show you how to access the filter, and then the actual replacement process is going to be super straightforward and easy. So we're going to go ahead, head over to the car, and get started. Alrighty, so we're here at the front of the car, and you can see we're on the passenger side right by the fender, and your cabin filter sits underneath this area right here. You can kind of see that diagonal shape there, followed by the radius, straight, and straight connecting there. That's the shape of the cabin filter that we were just looking at. So in order to get access to this, it's relatively straightforward. It's just a little more complicated than other vehicles, depending on what you're working with. You're going to need to remove a few screws. There's one right here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one all the way over there. It should be just those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. Pay attention to where the screws are coming from. I will say that. These ones right here, I believe all are short. This one right here, if I remember correctly, is long with coarse threads. I believe that's the case for that other one right there. And that one is also long, but with fine threads. So just make sure you keep track of where your screws come from. Otherwise, if you try to like impact them back into place, you may end up messing something up. So all we need to do is remove those screws. We need to pull this trim piece off right here, which is super easy. It just lifts off because it's just edge trim that's on the edge of the cowl there. I just tuck it up on top of the cowl. And then this cover is going to be able to lift up. So we'll show you the process here in just a second. Alright, so as you can see, removing the screws is pretty easy. I just use a super long number 2 Phillips bit in a impact on low torque setting. And you can see that the cover is loose now. You know, whenever we lift it up, it's nice and loose. Now, getting the cover up far enough to get the filter out, you don't need to pull the entire cover off the car. Just be careful of this little vacuum line right here. I'm not entirely sure of its function, but be careful not to break that. And then you got to make sure that you kind of wiggle the cover around some of the other covers that are around it. So you have a point where it wants to always interfere right here. You're going to want to push the cover back up and around to get it past there. And then back here in the back, we always have these tabs hit under the cowl here, and you can see where it's been chewed up in the past by folks doing the service. And then this one right here as well likes to hit the cowl and again chews it up a little bit going back down. You just gotta be careful to minimize the amount of damage that you cause, or hopefully eliminate that altogether. But you can see that we already have access to the cabin filter down into there. So I'll put you down, show you what it looks like to pull the cover the rest of the way off, and what the cabin filter looks like whenever we pull it out. All right, so here we have brand new and old filters right next to each other. Basically the same exact part. I believe that Febby Bilstein is the original manufacturer for these things. You can even see you've got a mold marking there, and right here it's kind of blanked off like they do for a lot of the OEM parts. This filter right here is an original Mercedes one. So you can see the very clear difference here. This filter, believe it or not, doesn't have a ton of miles on it. I just live in dirty Arizona, and it's probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 miles or so on it. So a decent amount, but nothing too crazy. And it's pretty darn filthy, and this car's garage the whole time and everything as well. So these do get dirty and need to be changed. The interior ones, not so bad, more difficult to change too, but luckily not so bad. They're only for recirculation. Anyway, new filter. Just got to tear this sucker open and go ahead and reverse the installation, or reverse the removal process for installation of the new filter. So I'm going to go ahead, I always like to mark the date on the filter,
and throw it back in the car and show you how to button everything up.
All right, so reinstallation process is pretty darn straightforward. We're gonna go ahead and lift up the cowl here just a little bit, slip the filter in here. One thing I did notice, this filter shows airflow is going in the wrong direction. The airflow path is downward in this case, and the other filter that's built identically has the correct airflow direction on it. So don't be too alarmed if you get a filter that has the incorrect airflow direction printed on it. It just, I guess, is how these filters are made now. Anyway, got everything set into place nicely there. And we're gonna go ahead and get this pop back into place. So the way I like to do it is kind of twisting it towards the rear of the car. Once we're lowered in about that position, and then getting those two tabs over there past everything that need to get past and letting it drop right down into place. And that right there is pretty much ready to settle back down into place. We've just got some molding and whatnot that we have to get around, but that's it right there. So that's the filter reinstalled. Now all you're gonna need to do to finish the job is throw the screws in. Again, short screws here, the coarse thread long screws in these 2 points, and the fine thread long screw in the furthest point away, closest to the driver's side. With that, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.